Well, good morning everyone and welcome to day 1 of Vegan Weight Watchers. So I'm really excited about this challenge, but I've had a really hard time starting this challenge. So I apologize that this has taken me so long to start uploading videos again. But yeah, it was Thanksgiving and then there was a ton of leftovers that needed to be eaten. And then I was super lazy and didn't feel like cooking at all. So I just ate what my husband was making for food and it was great. Yesterday I had carrots and hummus and cucumbers, which probably would have qualified for a day of, actually that was the day before, qualified for a day of Weight Watchers and been just fine, but how unexciting is that, you know? So anyways, we're starting today, it's official. So I am making something, this recipe I'm really excited about. It's called originally it was called Baked Hawaiian Pineapple Chicken Teriyaki, and I am going to make Baked Hawaiian Pineapple Tofu Teriyaki. So this recipe is kind of weird. It doesn't have like really it doesn't, the instructions are very odd. So like it tells you to use boneless, skinless chicken thighs. So I'm using tofu, and tofu, all varieties, it says including smoked of tofu, are 0 points foods. It says 2 cups of pineapple diced. Okay, we're going so far, that's fine. It doesn't say to cut the chicken, but I would assume that you would. And then the next 3 ingredients are red bell pepper, green bell pepper, yellow bell pepper. That's all it says. It doesn't say to dice them, to cut them, to chop them, anything at all. So, you know, usually recipes hold your hand and kind of treat you like you're dumb, which is kind of a good thing. Like, I've never made this before, therefore treat me like I'm dumb, and I will try and follow your recipe. But no, it doesn't say anything about cutting the peppers at all. So, anyways, and then it says a small red onion diced, so that part is actually tells you what to do. So anyways, it's kind of strange, but that part is pretty much going to stay the same. I have, I don't have a green pepper, but I have a yellow, a red, and an orange. I have a large onion diced rather than a small onion diced, but I don't really see that being an issue because peppers and onions are both 0 point foods. I have 3/4 of a pound of smoked tofu diced up, but it calls for 1.5 pounds of chicken. So obviously you could use way more tofu, but that's probably gonna be more than I want, to be honest with you. I'm a little hesitant using that much, but we'll see. Hopefully it'll work out fine. And then pineapple. So I again got pineapple tidbits. Again, as in I've done this in the past. Sorry if you don't know that. Pineapple tidbits, because they're smaller than big chunks of pineapple, but they're not crushed, so you lose them in everything. So that's good. So I sat down at the calculator this morning on the computer and figured out the points for this, because the points that are on here, I don't know how they came up with these points, because there's no way it doesn't work. So I calculated out you're supposed to use soy sauce, apple cider vinegar, garlic, honey, grated ginger, cornstarch, and black pepper. So I am using some of those ingredients. So here's the thing. When I calculated out using the ingredients that I would use, I came out with the whole dish having 12 points total. So you could eat the entire thing for 12 points. That sounds really good to me. You also could serve this over some rice. I haven't looked up what rice is for points yet, but I imagine it's fairly darn high, so you would only get a little bit of rice, but that would be okay. The thing is, one of the main ingredients is the soy sauce, and when I didn't think about it at first, because it's, you know, no big deal, but I use tamari, and it's a 50% less sodium kind, so it's less sodium than, I've not found one on the market that's less sodium than this. Maybe one that has wheat in it has less. I can't tell you that because we use everything gluten-free in our house. But there's 490 milligrams in 1 tablespoon of 50% reduced sodium tamari. So yeah, 1/2 cup is a lot of sodium. I can't do that. I cannot eat, like, have a meal that has 4,000 milligrams of sodium in it. That's insane. So what I'm going to do is cut the soy sauce in half and use 1/4 cup rather than the full 1/2 cup of tamari. And the other 1/2 cup that I'm going to use the juice off the pineapple, which I don't know if that's going to increase the number. I don't know if that's a bad thing in terms of having more calories, but there's no sugar in there. All it is pineapple and the pineapple juice. There's no extra added sugar whatsoever. So I know that if you made a smoothie, or I think probably if you drank juice, you probably would have to count it. But I'm not really exactly 100% sure, so I'm kind of winging it on this one, because I could not handle having 4,000 milligrams of sodium in a meal. That would be insane. So what we're gonna do is 1/4 cup of reduced sodium soy sauce, and 1/4 cup of pineapple juice, and 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, which apple cider vinegar has like nothing in it. So this stuff is, go for it, use it. It's wonderful. And then the next thing is 4 cloves of garlic minced, which, okay, garlic is garlic, no problems. I'm going to use all 4 cloves of garlic. I won't measure it because I never do, and yeah, that'll be just fine. And then it calls for 3 tablespoons of honey. I'm going to use, and I calculated it, with 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. I'm really debating using only 2, which would, let's see. If I use 2, instead of being, anyways, it would be about 55 milligrams of calories, 55 calories less, but the sugars would go down from, instead of being 36 down to 24 grams of sugar. But I really think I'm going to do that because I really don't think that I need that amount of sweetness because of the pineapple juice. So I'm kind of excited about using that. I'm going to leave the calculator. It's telling me that there's 12 points in here, even though I'm not going to necessarily use all the sugar. So I'm pretty sure that the points would be less, but I'm not worried about that. I'd rather err on the side of having too much than not having enough, or thinking that I'm eating less points than what I'm actually eating. Okay? So there is that. The teaspoon of grated ginger, I'm just going to skip that. I will sprinkle a tiny little bit of powdered ginger in it when I go to boil it on the stove, and that's going to be just fine. So what you do, and I did count this part in there as well, you're supposed to use cornstarch. I use tapioca flour. So you're supposed to take a tablespoon of cornstarch and a tablespoon of warm water and whisk it together in a bowl, and then combine your 1 tablespoon, well, it's now 2 tablespoons, I suppose, of the cornstarch water recipe. You're supposed to put in the honey, soy sauce, vinegar, garlic, ginger, black pepper. It's 1/4 teaspoon black pepper in case I didn't say that. And you whisk that together, and then you go ahead and boil it for a minute. Once you are done boiling that, you're supposed to let it sit for 10 minutes because I would assume that you want it to thicken and all that good stuff. So, I do want it to thicken because I want it to stay on top of the tofu because I don't dislike tofu, but it's got like almost no flavor. So I just think that it would be better if you were to like have some flavor on it. So I want there to be a lot of flavor in this. But I was thinking about doubling the amount of liquid on it because that's a lot of peppers and onions and tofu for that small amount of liquid, but I'm not going to do that unless I just use the pineapple juice, in which case maybe I would expand the liquid a little bit by doing that, but I'm not going to use more maple syrup or more soy sauce. So anyways, once you have you're supposed to put the peppers and the onions and the tofu. What you're supposed to do is put the peppers and onions and pineapple in a bowl, and then put the tofu on top, and then put the sauce on top. And then bake that at 400 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes. And it's uncovered. So there you go. And it does say before you bake it to make sure that all of your chicken has lots of goo on it. I am going to not be too terribly concerned about that part. I don't think this is going to be an issue at all. So I'm going to go put the sauce together, put the food in the glass dish, and then go bake it and see what it turns out like. I can't imagine it's not going to be delicious. I think it's going to be wonderful. But anyways, that's what I'm going to do. It's already after 3 o'clock, which means I've got 2 hours before I need to leave for work, and I still wanted to make chocolate chip banana muffins for the kids for breakfast, so I'm kind of a little bit pressed for time. So I'm going to go take care of that, and then later after the muffins are in and this is out of the oven, so it's a little bit cooler so I don't burn myself telling you what it tastes like, which I do all the dang time, I will go ahead and let you guys know what it tastes like. So I will be back pretty soon, and I will talk to you guys soon. Alright guys, I want to show you what this looks like before I get it in the oven. Simply because it actually worked out really well. So I put the peppers and onions in there first and just mixed it all together, and then put a layer of pineapple only up to here because my husband doesn't really care for pineapple chunks, so this end I left without any pineapple, and this 2/3 that's mine is going to have pineapple. I don't even know if he'll eat this or not, but he might. And then I sprinkled the tofu on top. I did not use all the tofu because that was way more than enough in my opinion. There's probably a good handful of it left. I didn't use all the pineapple either because I didn't put pineapple down on this end. And you can see the sauce on top of it. So the only thing that I changed when I made the sauce was I did use all of the juice out of the pineapple can, and I did put in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And this is, it's nice and thick, and it's very tasty. So it's really thick, which is kind of cool. But anyways, it's kind of a gelatinous mess actually. But anywho, I'm gonna go get this in the oven and cook it for 35 minutes, and I will show you guys what it tastes, and show you and tell you what it tastes like when it comes out. All right guys, so it is done. So I'm taking this bowl, I'm taking 2 bowls, so it'll have 8 total points. This bowl has green beans in the bottom. So I'm going to have some green beans with this. I thought that probably sounded like it would be quite tasty. And so I've had so far a tiny little bite because it was really hot. But I'm going to try it for you now. And it smells wonderful. It's very good. It's very mild. It's very, it's definitely sweet. Definitely didn't need more than the 2 tablespoons of maple syrup for sure. It is not salty at all, which, I mean, there's still, what, 2,000 milligrams of sodium in the whole thing? That's a lot. So, but it doesn't taste salty. So anyway, it's very good. Very, very good. I would highly recommend trying that. There's enough juice in it that you could easily serve this over rice. I don't actually know how many points are in rice. I'll figure that out. But this would be really good over rice. I had some tofu and some pineapple left over. So I'm going to have a salad for breakfast, which basically all I did was microwaved the tofu and the pineapple together in a container with some barbecue sauce on it, which maybe that sounds a little bit weird, I don't know, but I like barbecue and pineapple. So this is what I'm gonna eat for breakfast. I'm really excited about it, actually. So I'm gonna just have a piece of pineapple and a piece of tofu with some of the goo on it and some baby kale, and that's what I'm gonna have for breakfast. So this is because of the barbecue sauce that I used, which I always use the same kind. It's the kind from Kroger, so you just use whatever kind is good for you. Is 6 points. So I thought about making a smoothie to take with me, but even cutting down like the orange juice in half with the mangoes and the spinach, and actually it would have been kale, not spinach, but anyway, it was still going to be like 10 points just for with like half the amount of orange juice and using water, and it just didn't sound all that wonderful. So this sounds very good. I'm very hungry, and this I think will be delicious. So I'm going to go and eat this. I'm going to pack up my other container to go. I'm going to take an apple with me. I don't know if I'm taking anything else, so if I do, I will get back with you about that later. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you again tonight. Well, hello everybody. So I have to tell you, I am very surprised. 23 points is easier to get than you would think. I did not think that it would be that easy to rack up some points so fast. So this morning I had my kale and pineapple and tofu salad-y thing. I didn't end up finishing a decent amount of the pineapple and some of the kale because there was way too much barbecue sauce on it. So there was a bunch of barbecue sauce left on the plate and stuff. So I'm gonna say that was 5 points rather than 6 because there was quite a bit left. It was just too much. And then let's see, what other points did I have? I had a cup of tea, and that had 6 points. I had no idea that soy creamer had so many points to it. So that had 6 points. And then I had my container of, the Hawaiian, I don't remember what it's called, but the Hawaiian dish that I made this morning, the teriyaki stuff, it was really good. Oh my gosh, I was very impressed with that. So I did make some rice, and I had exactly 1 cup of cooked rice. I measured it out, which is 6 points. And, okay, so the way that it worked out with the food that I took with me, so you know how I said there's 12 points total, and I was going to divide it into 3, and 1/3 my husband was going to have, and I was going to eat the other 2/3. Well, of the 2/3 that was my part, I actually took 1/3 of that twice and left 1/3 of it because I just didn't have enough room in my containers, and I ended up not needing that much anyway, so that worked out well. So basically, instead of being 8 points, I'm just going to say 9 because that makes my life much easier with math. So I would just say each of the containers that I took had 3 points in it. So that was really good. I really, really enjoyed that. That was quite tasty. I was impressed with that. So yeah, so when I counted all of that up, it came out to be 23 points. I think that I counted that correctly. Let's see, 6, 6, 6, that's 18, plus 5, yeah, 23. There you go. So I'm done with points for the day. So anything that I eat when I get home has to be straight up vegetable or fruit. I didn't eat my apple. That's still in the refrigerator at work. I'm not actually 100% sure what I'm going to eat when I get home, but I'm actually kind of hungry, so I will need to eat something. I have an open bag of peppers and onions in the refrigerator. There's a bunch of kale. I've got a bunch of carrots. You know what? I'm probably just gonna eat some carrots. That sounds really good. I've got a bunch of baby carrots and some carrot chips in the refrigerator. Maybe I'll just eat some carrots. I think I like that idea. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to just eat some carrots when I get home, I guess. And then go to bed because I'm tired. Because I've been up since 1 o'clock this morning. So actually since 12:51. But anywho, so that's it for me for the day, guys. This actually went really well. I'm surprised that I managed to get 23 points so easily. It was very easy to do. Like super easy to get there. I kind of thought it would be more difficult than it was. I guess if you have something like tea and then you eat 3 times and each of those is 5 or 6. Actually with the rice, that just the one meal was 10. That's a lot. So anyways, okay guys, so this went well. I